So when you think of a composer from like 200 years ago, you probably picture some stuffy guy in a wig, right? Well, I want you to forget all of that. Today, we're talking about Frederic Chopin, this quiet kid from Poland who lands in Paris and becomes the piano's very first rock star. Seriously, he wasn't just a composer. He was a revolutionary, a total rule breaker, and an absolute game changer.
Yeah, but here's the real question, right? Why does his music still pop up everywhere? I mean, from these super emotional movie scenes to epic video game soundtracks, how did a guy writing music 2 centuries ago create something so timeless that it still gets to us today? That's the puzzle we're going to solve. So let's go find our first clue. All right, so where do we even start this investigation? Well, our first clue isn't actually about the notes he played. It's all about being in the right place at exactly the right time. See, Chopin didn't just have talent. He had, perfect timing. He landed in the one city on Earth that was totally ready for a star just like him.
Okay, I want you to imagine the world's biggest cultural hotspot right now. The center for art, for fashion, for all the new ideas. Well, back in the 1800s, that was Paris. It was the place to be. And the piano, it was basically the brand new iPhone. Everybody wanted one, and they were desperate to hear the absolute best people play it. It was the perfect launchpad for a new kind of star, and Chopin was about to step right into the spotlight. But it wasn't just the city. The whole vibe of music was changing. It was shifting from what you see on the left, the old school way, which was all about following super strict rules and tradition. But the new wave was the Romantic era, over on the right. And this was all about deep, personal emotion. It was about self-expression. It was like this huge cultural shift that said, forget the old rulebook, show us how you feel. And believe me, nobody could make a piano feel more than Chopin. So Chopin's in the perfect city, right in the middle of this perfect cultural moment. But he had a problem. He was actually kind of shy, an introvert, who hated playing for big crowds. So how on earth does a shy guy become a superstar? Well, that brings us to our next clue, his brilliant and totally unique strategy for performing.
You see, while every other musician was trying to sell out these huge concert halls, Chopin went in a complete opposite direction. He just knew that playing for massive, anonymous crowds wasn't his vibe. It just wasn't him. He needed a different kind of stage, one where he could really, truly connect with his audience.
And that secret weapon was the Parisian salon. So forget the giant, impersonal arenas you see on the left. I want you to think of the salon on the right as like an exclusive, invite-only party at a mansion. We're talking a small room, maybe 30 of the most important people in Paris. Artists, thinkers, critics. It was less like a concert and more like a private Twitch stream just for his top-tier subs, where every single person in the room could hear and appreciate the tiniest little details in his music.
Okay, we've got the perfect location and the perfect strategy. Now for the most important piece of the puzzle, the music itself. What was Chopin actually doing at the piano that made everybody's jaw just drop? Let's break down his musical cheat sheet. These are the special moves that made him a legend. This is where the real magic is.
His first signature move was something called tempo rubato. It literally means stolen time. Okay, think about how you might stretch out a word when you're texting for emphasis, like, that was so good. That's basically what Chopin did with rhythm. He'd speed up and then slow way down to linger on a key note, making the music feel super flexible and almost like a conversation. It was like the musical version of bullet time in a movie, literally bending time to make a moment hit harder. Next up, he basically invented the original lo-fi chill track, for real. He called them nocturnes, these short, dreamy pieces of music inspired by the night. They had this beautiful, singing melody floating over a calm background, and they were just perfect for that intimate vibe of the salons. It's the kind of music you can just close your eyes to and completely get lost in.
But here's the thing that really ties all of his special moves together. Chopin wasn't just playing notes. He was trying to tell stories. He was obsessed with opera and this style of singing called bel canto, which means beautiful singing. He would actually tell his students, hey, if you want to play my music right, you have to go listen to the great singers of our time. He wanted to make this giant instrument full of hammers and strings sound just like a human voice, breathing, sighing, celebrating.
And a huge part of his story was about where he came from. Even though he was this big star in Paris, Chopin never ever forgot his Polish roots. He'd take these traditional Polish folk dances, the kind of music people actually dance to back home, and he basically remixed them. He'd keep the unique Polish rhythms, but then he'd layer on his own complex emotional harmonies and turn them into these high-skill showpieces. It was his way of showing pride in his homeland. And let me tell you, the Parisian audiences went absolutely wild for these powerful, exotic new sounds.
And this might be his biggest flex of all. He took things called etudes, which are basically the boring, repetitive finger exercises that every single piano student has to grind through, and he made them sound incredible. It's kind of like a pro gamer designing a training map that's so creative and fun to play that it becomes more popular than the actual game. I mean, he literally turned homework into art.
So, we've got all the clues, the perfect city, the VIP gigs, and a whole bag of musical tricks that no one had ever seen before. Let's put it all together and finally solve this mystery. Why is Chopin still such a big deal? So, why is his music still everywhere? Well, because he completely changed the game. He's the one who taught the piano how to sing with raw, human emotion. He's the guy who took boring exercises and turned them into absolute masterpieces. He put his Polish heritage on the world stage for everyone to hear. He didn't just play the piano, he rewrote the rules for what it could even be.
But if there's one thing you take away from all this, it's this. Chopin proved that one person, sitting at one instrument, could express the entire range of human feeling, from quiet heartbreak to pure explosive joy. That was his real superpower. So I want to leave you with this one thought. Think about it. A shy genius who preferred these small, intimate gigs over giant stadiums, who used the latest tech of his day to create this intensely emotional art. If Chopin were around today, what would he be? A groundbreaking producer making amazing beats, a viral creator starting trends on TikTok, or maybe he'd be the person writing those unforgettable video game soundtracks. The rock star from 200 years ago might just be the blueprint for the creators you follow right now.